Good morning, everyone. Good morning. As you come into the room, please say, you know, hello. You know how we were raised. When you enter the room, you speak to everybody in the room. Good morning to you. I'm Luciana Turner. I am your host for the LT&A Chatter Project. I am live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, which is why I keep turning my head. So, I'm not trying to swipe you away. Good morning, sir. Okay, my phone screen is doing something weird, but good morning, sir. How are you doing? I'm speaking to somebody on Instagram. As you come into the room, just speak. How are you doing? Oh, wow. So, the Chatter Project is designed to, just up level the conversation around government contracting. Far too often, we see the same conversation. How do you win the first contract? Where do you find opportunities? But we don't hear conversations around legislation. We don't hear conversations around the budget, appropriations. We don't hear conversations around what is going on in the government that is affecting contractors and contracts. That's where the Chatter Project comes in. I'm Luciana Turner. I have been in government contracting. If you add in my time working with the nonprofit DoD think tank for 21 years, I started off as a financial analyst and ended up as a compliance specialist. That means I dealt with audits. I dealt with DCAA, which is the Defense Contract Audit Agency, CAS, disclosure statements, incurred cost submissions, labor forward checks, contract closeouts, and the like. I dealt with Department of Labor. You don't want to deal with them. They're nasty. I actually had some experience with GAO audits. And the problem with GAO is they're all attorneys. So you can't double talk them because they went to school to learn how to double talk. So that's my experience in government contracting. And I just had a desire to start my company and to share my platform because the dominant conversation, especially audit time, was that our small business partners, our small business subcontractors, were basically our weakest links. They did not have proper records. Oftentimes, our project and program managers talked about how they could not perform on contracts. And often, we had subcontractors call our office essentially asking us how to run their business. And that's not appropriate. You don't ask your prime how to run your business. You should know how to run your business. So rather than join the conversation, I said, well, let me speak in what I know, which is compliance, and up level conversation a little bit. Therefore, the Chatter Project was born. Now, I need to correct something that I said earlier this week. The current government budget is 2.9 trillion with a T, not billion with a B. I misspoke. And I caught myself and I need to make that correction. The current IT modernization budget, i.e., what the government has submitted to be included in the budget, totals, I believe it was somewhere around 200 billion with a B dollars. So, and that was as of a month ago. I was in a virtual meeting that they held about IT modernization in the government, and they had kind of like penciled in 100. And when they got all the proposals and the requests and everything, it came up to 200. So I just wanted to make those corrections because I misspoke earlier, and I want to make sure that I'm putting out the right information onto the market. Yeah, we have enough bad information running around here. I don't want to add to it. So we are 15 days away from FY 2022. And I just wanted to say this. We're getting ready, the various agencies have already put their forecasts out on the street. They have been coming out for the last 3 months, and they're officially all out. I'm hoping that my audience have been going to the agency websites, pulling down those forecasts and studying them. I'm hoping that you're using those forecasts as a part of your strategy. If not, I suggest you get on my calendar and book a strategy session so we can get started for FY 2022. I want to say this. We are in a time of transition. COVID has placed us in a place where, as business owners, we need to be really looking at our risk and how we're operating our businesses. We need to be analyzing how we're handling our workforce, how we're communicating across platforms, and we need to separate personal opinion from our business decisions. I've been in several rooms and several conversations across several platforms. And what I'm seeing is, and it's kind of sad, leaders in businesses that can't separate personal opinion from business decisions. And I'm not saying you're not supposed to be guided by your moral compass. I'm seeing not even moral compass, I'm seeing personal opinion dominating business decisions to the point you're going to run your business in the ground. I need better leadership coming from especially my contracting community. How can you demonstrate that you are an effective business partner with the government when you lead from a highly emotive state that is clouding your judgment? Now, we are all emotional beings, and I'm not saying that I'm not one. I had a whole emotional breakdown yesterday. But what I did was I backed up and I took some time to bring myself down so that my emotional state did not lead to a bad decision. Because that one bad decision could make a bad business error. And there are too many people depending on me to make an emotional decision that can have bad results. And I'm not speaking from a place of scolding. I hope that's not how this is coming across. I want to come from a place of thinking. When every business decision you make affects those who are dependent upon you, your workforce, your clients, your greater community. There are a lot of us who have philanthropic endeavors that we want to give into and pour into. And every decision we make affects those things. So while we are guided by our moral compass, and while there are some things that are questionable going out and going on in the atmosphere, our decisions must be strategic And they must be based upon what impact they are going to have in the greater atmosphere. How are they going to affect our workforce? How are they going to affect our clients? How are they going to affect the workflow? And then from this perspective too, we also need to talk about and stop thinking about we're not the only ones affected. What is going on with our clients? What's going on with our workforce? What's going on with if you don't have employees and you have a bunch of 1099s, which Department of Labor has just ramped up their auditors. So if you have a bunch of 1099s, you better run that test to make sure they're supposed to be 1099s. And if they're not, you better correct yourself before you get corrected, because government math is the worst math in the world. And a $500 mistake can become a $2,000 check in a heartbeat. That's just a plug. But this is the time to show high leadership. Have a conversation with your team. I don't care if they're contractors, employees, clients. Get a gauge for what's going on. Have a debrief. This is a time to feel what their needs are, what your needs are. How can you be serviced in the greater community? How can you service the greater community? Not only is this an opportunity for you to, one, operate in the leadership of sharing your burdens, because a true effective leader knows that you're not a silo unto yourself, but it's a time to show that you are empathetic and that you are truly a caring individual and that they are more than just a check or a means to an end. We have seen a lack of human compassion in the last 18 months, and especially in the last 9 months. I've never seen such intelligent people show low emotional intellect as I've seen in the last 5 months. And how are we contractors? How are we industry leaders? Because I truly believe the people coming through now, we are the new leaders. We are new to trendsetters. We're the ones that are going to take the world by storm and transform it. And we can't transform the world, but we can't even control ourselves. I don't know about anybody else on this platform, but my clients and myself, we are transformers. We are going to be the ones who take this world and we're going to turn it on its head for the good. And you can't do that operating from a purely emotive state. And with that said, I just have to say that we are 15 days from the government fiscal year. We have several new executive orders. We have several new FAR clauses that came out. Are you ready to take action and get in action? Are you still spinning in a circle, in a tailspin? Have you formed your power team? Are you still thinking that me is going to get you where you're trying to go? Do you have a team? We're going to FY 2022. Let me tell you, you need a team. You don't have $1 million dream working by yourself. And there is not a millionaire out here who is doing it on their own. And don't let nobody fool you. They've got a team. There is nobody out here sending out all their own emails, making their own phone calls, doing their own graphics, writing their own. Nobody. No, not one. There's nobody out here winning a multi-million-dollar contract doing all the work on it, and all the billing, and the contract closeout, and the changes, and the mods. And so it's time to form a team. You can't form a team if you do not have SOPs in place. You can't have a profitable contract bid if your rates are not there. This is the time to up level and stay on that level to go to the next level. You can't scale until your foundation is strong. In the next few days, I'm going to do a whole lot more talking like this because it's time out for the nicey. This is FY 2022. The government has already identified that it is receiving cyber attacks through their small businesses, through their contractors and subcontractors. So they are pushing down. I don't think it's out yet, but it's coming. Security requirements to all of their contractors, especially if you're looking to do business with DoD, the monolith. And if you don't know, DoD is comprised of multiple agencies. I need you to get into my class. But come on, how do you recoup the cost? There's a senator trying to figure that out. I already know. You put it in your rates. It's recoverable. You don't need to figure nothing out. Now you may need to figure out how to pay for that, but I'm gonna go here. Get in my live. I have a virtual summit coming up November 1st. How to become a power partner with the government. We're gonna talk about that. Up leveling. We need to stop being members of the Twitterverse. These 15-second sound bites and 10-second attention spans will not cut it in government contracting. It just is what it is. And with that, I invite you to join me tomorrow morning at 8:15 for another installment of the LT&A Chatter Project. I invite you to think about what I've said today and how you're going to apply it to your organization. I invite you into conversation with me and how I can bring my compliance experience and knowledge into your organization to help you scale and grow. This is Luciana Turner of the LT&A Company. I will see you tomorrow morning at 8:15 a.m. Eastern Time for another installment of the LT&A Chatter Project. Have a great day.